It's that time again for another 5 minutes of free advice brought to you by 7 Generation Games, games that make you smarter. Today's free advice is on how to be a better person and a better friend by realizing that you need to work on your virtues. Yes, I said your virtues. Because usually your biggest fault is also your biggest virtue. Let's take me, for example. When I was in the sixth grade, yes, I've always been this bad, the teacher had me read a quote off of the board. Pride goeth before a fall. And then there was some story about a rooster that thought it made the sun come up in the morning. And the other kids in the class laughed and they said, "Yeah, that's you. You think you're smarter than everybody. You think you're better than everybody." And it's true, I was very annoying and I did think I was smarter than everybody in the class. And I also thought I was smarter than my teachers, which got me into a lot of trouble because my teachers unfortunately did not share that view. But it also meant that I wasn't willing to accept that my fate was to get pregnant in the back of a red pickup truck before I finished high school and marry some guy that had a job at the plant and raise a bunch of kids in the small town where I was living at the time. I was not willing to go along with other people's expectations for me. I didn't buy that bloom where you're planted line. I didn't buy the going along to get along. And I got out of there. I wanted to be more and do more than anyone expected. And there's a certain amount of pride, and some would say arrogance in that. When I was on the world team, we were over in Europe and we were sitting around after practice talking about what we wanted to accomplish. And I said, I want to be best on the planet on November 11th. And one of the other women on the team, who could not stand me, by the way, said, "Who do you think you are? Why do you think you can do it? No one else in this country has ever in history won the world championships. What makes you think you're so much better than everybody else?" And I said, "Well, somebody's got to win. Why not me?" My old judo coach used to say that it ain't bragging if you can back it up. Maybe not, but it sure as hell is annoying. Years ago, I was on a board with a woman who told me that I should not mention I have a PhD, world championships, founded a business because it made some of the men on the board not like me so much. Trust me, if you had known these men, that would be a benefit. They were the type of people who said, "If you don't stop that, I'll never speak to you again." That you would do it twice as much and then give them $1 just to be sure they never spoke to you again. However, I had a lot of respect for her. And here's a good bit of advice. If someone you respect has a difference of opinion from you, then you should think about it for a while. You don't necessarily have to change your mind, but you should give it some serious thought. And having listened to Donald Trump for a couple of minutes until I felt my brain cells starting to die, I realized that yes, she is right. It is really, really annoying to listen to people constantly bragging of their greatness. Whether you have $1 billion or not, I don't want to hear about it 40 times. So, whatever your virtue is, you probably have a lot of it because it benefited you. In my case, that self confidence, that always believing I was right about things, enabled me to leave a safe job to start a business, then to leave a successful business to found a startup. The same is true of your friends that drive you crazy. A couple of my very best friends are laid back to the point where I just want to wring their necks. They forget about deadlines, they don't always do their share of the work, they aren't that serious about life, but they always have time for me. They're always there to tell me not to stress out so much. So I've learned to appreciate the virtue in the vices they have. The things that drive me crazy about them sometimes are also the reasons that they're such good friends. And on the flip side of that, look at your own virtues and how they can be vices. Marriage counselors say that people get divorced for the same reasons they got married 7 years earlier. You married him because he was so manly and confident and he always knew the right thing to do. And then 7 years later, you divorce him because he never listens to me and we never get to do what I want to do because I'm always so sure that his is the right thing. So I think if you want to be a better person, take a look at what your virtues are, whether it's self confidence or being really laid back or really accepting, and then maybe try and be a little less like that. And if you want to be a better friend, look at what your friend's vices are and look in that and see what is it about that that you appreciate and try and appreciate them a little bit more. Check out 7 Generation Games, www.7, that's number 7, 7generationgames.com. Games that make you smarter.